What's up, Raiders? Bionic here. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And yes, I am still sick today. The voice sounds really weird. I might cough a few times. I'm sorry, but I thought I would put this out there as quickly as possible in case you haven't heard it from the other content creators. But we've just had a massive amount of information on the champions that will be rebalanced in patch 2.20, which is due to release in mid-September. So we're not even going to do this in the game itself because there are just too many to go through. What I will do is use my tier list, and what I've done is I've isolated all the champions that are involved. So what we'll do is we'll go down the list and I'll say if I think it's going to be a buff or a nerf, because they're not telling us exactly what it is. We won't know until a little bit later exactly what's going to happen to each of these champions, but it's pretty obvious that on some of them we can expect a nerf, while on others we can expect a buff. Okay, so Dracomorph, most probably a nerf. He is an excellent champion, does a lot of great things. I think the decreased defense, 25% AoE on a 3-turn cooldown is one of the best skills in the game. So expect a nerf on this guy, unfortunately. So if you're doing an unkillable build with Dracomorph as your sole damage dealer, you might run into some issues now. You might not be able to do a 1-key Ultra Nightmare, right? Seefy the Lost Bride, most probably a nerf as well. She's really strong, has a lot of like buffs and the ability to turn meter increase, the ability to revive, the sleep, the whole thing. Her kit is so complex, it makes her one of the most wanted champions in the game right now, if not the best champion in the game. Rotos the Lost Groom, kind of like with Seefy, expect a nerf as well. A lot of people are complaining about this guy. It's a little bit sad because for a player like me, like, this is one of my best champions. I worked hard to get this guy as a free-to-play player, and now I'm going to have to deal with him being a little bit less efficient. Duchess, I'm expecting a nerf as well. She's really strong. So same thing, I kind of prepare for this. Abyss, I'm thinking this is going to be a buff. We don't see a lot of her. Her kit is not that interesting overall, so I'm really eager to see what they're going to do. Coronar, it's kind of like a mixed feeling about him. He's strong, but like, I don't see a whole lot of him, but then again, he's relatively new and he is a Void Legendary. I'm gonna say a nerf. I think that he's a little bit too powerful sometimes if built really well, especially when he's partnered up with Manaya. So I'm gonna say a nerf on this guy. But anyway, you guys maybe can confirm that. Krutraxa, really hard hitting. She's a little bit like Rotos in the sense that she can somewhat snowball, maybe a little bit. But I'm gonna say this is going to be a nerf. Again, hard to say, we don't see a lot of her. I do have her on my secondary account, and she can do a lot of great things, but she can also be quite annoying in the arena. Norog, definitely a buff. I think this guy we don't see a lot of. He has a really interesting passive, so hopefully we can see a little bit more of him. Madame Cerise, I'm going to say nerf. Definitely a nerf. She does a lot of great things once again. So not quite sure what to expect from her, but maybe, I don't know, maybe some of the like crowd control element to her will be removed or changed a little bit. Blind Seer, again, mixed feeling about this, not too sure, but I'm going to say a buff. Like, we don't see a whole lot of her, and I think she's good sometimes, but I'm expecting her to be maybe a little bit more present in the end game. Bellinor, same thing, definitely a buff. We don't see a lot of him for a Void Legendary. I'm thinking this guy is going to become a little bit more front stage, right? Warlord, probably a nerf, sorry, definitely a nerf. So he's really strong. His ability to put skills on cooldown and the turn meter decrease is just next level. If you're not able to like control this guy before he takes his first turn, chances are you're going to lose that battle, right? Then we've got Hawkhorn, Smash Lord. We don't see a whole lot of him, so I'm going to say a buff on this guy. Perhaps Elder Skarg, a buff as well. Rowan, probably a buff. She's pretty high on this list right now, but don't pay too much attention to the order of the champions right here. Like, Madame Cerise makes sense. She's really high, a lot better than a lot of legendaries, but like Rowan, she should be maybe a little bit lower, but with this buff, she might be that much better. Dragstar, we know he's going to get a buff. Really happy about this. I've always said this before. If you have the ability to get a legendary champion, try and get him. Chances are he's going to become a little bit better, or they're going to release some champions that will synergize with these champions. So when he was put into the bazaar, I immediately started working on him. Now I'm glad to know that they're actually going to buff him. Okay, then we've got Gergo the Augur. I'm mixed feeling. I can't really tell if this would be a nerf or a buff. We do see him quite a lot, but his freeze and remove buffs is actually pretty strong, but maybe a buff. Anyway, hard to say. Torminicold is in there. I'm going to say a nerf. A lot of people complain about him, and this is also going to hurt me quite a bit. Him and Rotos right now are some like my key champions on my account, so I don't know. I'm not too happy about this, but hey, I just have to deal with it, right? It is what it is. Bistophis, definitely a buff. We don't see this guy a lot in the end game. Has one of like the highest base attack, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm expecting a decent buff on this guy. Snorting Tug, as you can see, I didn't even fill out because this guy is never really used, so I'm going to say a big buff on this guy. Canderphone, probably a buff as well. We don't see a lot of him. Did he get buffed? No, Astrolith did get buffed a little bit not too long ago, but we also don't see quite a lot of her, so I'm expecting another buff on this champion. Then we have like Azure, Tishada, Alika. I did map out a little bit. I think this is nice to have other epics that are probably going to get a buff, so all these are going to be buffs. Swipe Firstborn, probably a buff. Hope, I'm going to say a buff as well. Hexia, probably a buff. Then we got Maeve, probably a buff as well. Jotun, definitely a buff. Pitiless One, a buff. Canonist, Bonekeeper, Missionary, Bushi, and Taurus, most likely buffs. Maybe Taurus would be a nerf because of the way he's being used to like nuke the Dragon Dungeon with the Xavier really fast. So we'll see. I think what they're maybe trying to do is to eliminate the really overpowered builds and to hopefully give us more options to work with so that we can hopefully have different metas, right? I think there are too many champions that you must have in order to compete in like Platinum Arena and like High Tag Arena, the whole thing. So hopefully that this balances out, and hopefully we can see more of these balances and nerfs. There's one champion which I do not have on my list right now because I never really added because we don't really use him, and it's Gerb Tuck Mossbeard. Now this guy was a legendary and is not really being used that much, so I'm eager to see what kind of buff they're going to do on this one. And yes, I am going to say a buff on Gerb Tuck. So again, I fuse this guy, I'm not using him. A lot of people are saying he's useless, but now he's getting a buff. So again, let this video serve as an example of what might happen in the future. So the next time you're thinking about just skipping a fusion for the heck of it because you didn't save your resources and use them at the right time, this is a perfect example. So this guy might become a really good champion to have overall on an account. Therefore, I'm maybe going to work on this guy once the buff happens, right? So that's pretty much it. Let me quickly go back to the list. And so if you guys want to screenshot this, whatever, use this as a reference. If you spot any errors, do let me know, because again, like, I'm always trying to update the list, but it's not always easy to be on top. But I'm really eager to see the changes. Let me know who you think is going to be a buff or a nerf, and what would you like to see change on like Dracomorph, Siphi, like the main ones, right? The ones we know are going to get probably some kind of major nerf because they're just too powerful. So anyway, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.